Hi everyone. So in today's video, I am going to explain you how does secondary market work and what is really secondary market is, right? If you look at the current situation of the Dubai real estate market, we all know that what has been the situation about US and Iran war and how it is affecting global economy. It's not just that UAE has been getting affected from this, but entire globe is getting affected from this, right? So in this video, I am gonna guide you how as an agent you can work into secondary market, what is the process that you have to follow, right? And what is difference between a primary market and a secondary market, and how you can complete the purchase, most important, how you can complete the transaction. That's the most important thing that you need to understand. So let's start with difference between secondary market and primary market. So right now I am an investor or end user. I want to buy a property. I have two options. First, I can go to direct to the developer. I can say that, hey, I like your property. I want to this unit that you have mentioned, and I want to buy this property from you, right? Who is the developer? The developer is the one who construct the property, right? Who owns the rights of that property, who owns the rights of that plot, and he creates the like thousands of units inside the project, hundreds of units. He creates the amenities, the facilities, and everything that you need as an end user, right? And second thing, when you're buying in the secondary, what does that mean? Someone has already purchased a property, a unit from the developer, and you're buying from him. Rather than buying directly from the developer, you're buying from someone who has already purchased the unit, right? Now, what is the benefit of buying into secondary market? Number one, you get a ready property. Most developer in Dubai real estate market does not operate in secondary market. They sell in primary, right? Till the time of handover, they almost finish the selling of their inventory, right? So developer, how they function, they sell the property and to the investor, to the end user, and charge premium to them, and they generate cash flow and they funds their construction and their plot and the bank and to their workers and all the small cost which are included while constructing, right? An owner is basically is buying from the developer and we are buying from them. That's what you can call it a secondary transaction. Now, so in into so you have like when it comes to working in the secondary market, you have two party always. One is seller party and one is buyer's party. Who is the seller party? So see, the beauty of the secondary market, when you work in the secondary market, you have to actually, it's not like that the inventory that you want to buy that is easily available, accessible, right? As an agent or even as an end user, that you can go directly to the developer, that okay, you have thousands of things and you can buy anything from them. No, it does not happen like that. In secondary, you're buying from a single owner, right? So he's the only single unit and you're interested to that, right? So to do that, like there are two parties involved. One is a buyer's party and one is seller's party. The seller who's gonna sell the property, that particular unit, and buyer who's gonna buy that particular unit. There are two parties involved, and an agent usually have to represent both of them, or two different agents are representing individually to their party, right? So what does seller party means? Seller party means someone who is responsible for selling on the behalf of seller, right? And buyer's party who is representing buyer, right? That is a usual difference. Now let's understand documentation that you need to have when you are representing different buyers. So when you are representing seller, then you need to have form A. That is a contract between you, that is agreement between you and a agent. Form A, right? That's a legal document. And form B, that is contract or agreement between buyer's agent and buyer, right? So these are two agreement, and then third agreement comes where both party agrees on certain terms and condition and the price of the unit, and in how much, like how the payment will be done via mortgage, via cash. Those all the conditions are written, and the payment is done, like how much commission that you have to pay the agent, because in the secondary market it's not like primary market where you don't have to pay commission. No, as per DLD laws, as per DLD rule, you have to pay commission, 2% commission to whoever is representing you. Maybe if buyer's agent is representing buyer, so he will have 2% commission from buyer. If a seller is representing 2%, seller is selling his property and agent is representing seller, so seller has to give 2% commission. So that we have to agree on certain terms and condition, and then form F gets signed, and this is legally binding contract. When form F is gets signed, you cannot step back, because you're legally binded by DLD. That if you're after signing form F, you're taking step back, you have to pay 10% check. Managers, like there's managers checks also involved. What is managers check? I'll quickly explain after this explanation. So form F is when it's signed. So if you're taking step back, so you have to pay 10% to, let's say if you're a buyer, and you're stepping back, so you have to pay 10% to the buyer, and the agent commission here, which you have to pay even the transaction has not been completed, but you have to do that because you're taking a step back, and this is a legally binding contract. You're officially committing to buy the property, right? The form F. Now let's understand what is manager's check. Manager's check is basically you are, like, the transaction whichever is happening, you have to go to trustee office, and there, like, the trustee office is a subsidiary, you can say, of the DLD, who is helping to DLD to complete transactions, right? To make secondary transaction seamless and flexible and very easy and smooth, right? So as a deal, like, you have to go to trustee office and have to submit your documents, your title to your ukud if it's secondary, and your all the documents, and if it's a secondary off plan, you have to submit the NOC as well, right? So these are the following documents that could require to complete a transaction, and you have to go to trustee office. The point is what I was trying to mention. The manager's check. Manager's check is like draft, right? DD, which we mention into in India. It's a DD, all right. So when you take manager's check, let's say if I'm taking the manager's checks of 200k, so bank will check that, okay, I have a 200k of funds in my bank, and now that funds will get freezed, and whoever I am sending the money to the seller, he can, in cash that check, and the money will get transferred to him. Right? That's what you can say manager's check is called, and it's important for in the secondary transaction. If you don't have manager's check, you cannot initiate a transaction. If you're not paying the commission of the agent, you cannot initiate the transaction. That's the power that as a secondary agent that we have, right? Now, buyer can do the viewing and the meeting both as well, whichever is more flexible for both buyers and seller. Now, the different elements that I need to tell you is you need to understand when you're in this dealing secondary. So you have to check with the buyer's finances first. Is he a mortgage buyer or is he a full cash buyer? So when it comes to a full cash buyer, the process is very simple. But when it comes to a mortgage buyer and if he's a salaried person, then one more extra step has been added to your entire transaction, right? So this all explanation that I have given you to combine in 1 minute summary. In the secondary market, there are two parties. One is seller's party, one is buyer's party, right? And both, all of them represent, have their own representative agents, and via them the transaction is being done, right? And to initiate the conversation to transaction, you have to sign Form A, Form B. Form A for seller's party, Form B for buyer's party, Form F when you all have agreed on the all terms and condition. Then Form F is signed. The manager's check is taken from the buyer side and given to the seller, submitted to seller. And when you go to the like trustee office, within half an hour or 1 hour, the title is transferred to the new owner, and the transaction gets completed. And the agent can ask for 2% of commission before even the transaction has been completed, and that he could take cash, check, or via payment as payment link he can do as well. So this is the glimpse of how secondary market works, right? And one more important truth, when you're dealing with the secondary market, so be clear on the stuffs like about the unit location, positioning, which is the layout, how is the layout, some pictures and images, and which direction is basically a unit brochure you can say, to have for every property that you are selling. That's a simple rule.